My girlfriend texted the day before our planned vacation. I need a break from us. Don't contact me. I replied, okay. Then I changed the resort reservation to just my name and went alone. When she showed up at the airport expecting to surprise me, her ticket was canceled. I, 31 male, have been with my girlfriend for 2.5 years. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I genuinely thought we were in a good place, especially since we'd been planning this vacation for over 6 months. A week at an all-inclusive resort, beaches, spa, the whole deal. I'd saved up about $4,200 for the trip, covering both our flights and the resort package. The day before we were supposed to leave, I was packing my suitcase when my phone buzzed. Text from her. Hey, I've been thinking a lot and I need a break from us. Some space to figure things out. Please don't contact me for a while. I'll reach out when I'm ready. I read it 3 times, the day before our vacation, after 6 months of planning. After I'd already taken the time off work, already packed, already arranged for my buddy to check on my apartment while we were gone, I sat on my bed for maybe 10 minutes just staring at the wall. Then I typed back one word, okay. That was it. No argument, no begging, no questions, just acceptance. Then I got to work. First call, the airline. Explained the situation without too many details. I need to cancel one ticket on this reservation. The representative was sympathetic. Since it was within 24 hours, there were fees involved, but I got about 60% of her ticket value back as credit. Better than nothing. Second call, the resort. This one was trickier. The reservation was under my name with her listed as a guest. I explained that my travel companion had canceled and I'd be coming alone. They adjusted the booking. Single occupancy. Same room, same dates, just me. Third call, my buddy who was supposed to watch my place. Still on for tomorrow? Cool. Thanks, man. I finished packing, set my alarm, went to bed. The next morning, I was at the airport by 6 a.m. for my 9 a.m. flight. Checked in, got through security, grabbed a coffee, found my gate, started scrolling through my phone. That's when I saw her, my girlfriend, walking through the terminal, pulling a bright pink suitcase I'd bought her for her birthday last year, wearing the sundress she'd ordered specifically for this trip. Huge smile on her face. She spotted me, and her smile got even bigger. She practically ran over, arms open for a hug. Surprise! I bet you thought I was serious. I didn't move, just looked at her. What? She stopped a few feet away, smile faltering. Babe, why aren't you happy? You texted me yesterday saying you needed a break, told me not to contact you. That was a test. I wanted to see if you'd fight for me, but then I realized I was being stupid and decided to surprise you at the airport instead. She was still smiling, like this was somehow romantic. Aren't you happy to see me? Not particularly. Her face fell. What? You told me you wanted a break. I gave you one. I canceled your ticket last night. Changed the resort reservation to just me. The color drained from her face. You... What? But... No, you can't do that. I have my boarding pass right here. She pulled out her phone, opened the airline app. Her confident expression crumbled as she stared at the screen. It should say canceled, I said. This is a mistake. This has to be a mistake. It's not. You wanted space. I gave you space. Enjoy it. I stood up, grabbed my carry-on, and walked toward the gate. They were starting to board. You can't do this to me, she screamed loud enough for half the terminal to hear. I took time off work. I packed. I kept walking, didn't look back. I did this for us. It was supposed to be romantic. People were staring. I could feel their eyes on me as I handed my boarding pass to the gate agent. The woman scanning tickets gave me a look, half sympathy, half curiosity. Rough morning? She asked quietly, getting better by the second. She actually smiled at that and waved me through. As I walked down the jetway, I could still hear her yelling something about how I was making a huge mistake and how she expected better from me. The door closed behind me and suddenly it was quiet. Just the hum of the aircraft, the calm voices of flight attendants, and the distant rumble of engines warming up. I found my seat, window, extra legroom, because if I'm going to fly solo, I'm doing it right, and settled in. My phone exploded the second I landed. 32 texts, 18 missed calls. Most from her, some from numbers I didn't recognize. I turned my phone off and took an Uber to the resort. Best vacation of my life. Update 1, 3 days into the trip. So I'm sitting by the pool with a drink that has about 4 different kinds of rum in it, and I figured I'd update since my phone's been nuclear since I landed. First, let me address the comments from my original post. Yes, I know testing your partner is toxic behavior. Yes, I know I could have talked to her at the airport instead of just walking away. But here's the thing, I've been dealing with this kind of stuff for 2.5 years. The tests aren't new. She's done this before. The I'm going to storm out during an argument to see if you follow me move. The I'm going to mention my ex to see if you get jealous thing. The I'm going to be cold and distant for days to see if you notice game. Every single time, I was supposed to chase. I was supposed to prove my love through some grand gesture. And when I did, she'd be satisfied for a while before the next test came along. About 8 months into our relationship, she told me she was thinking about moving back to her hometown to see how I'd react. I said, "That's a big decision. Let me know what you decide." She broke down crying because I didn't fight to keep her. We spent 3 hours that night with her explaining that she wanted me to show I cared. A year in, she mentioned offhandedly that an old flame had reached out and wanted to get coffee. I said, "Cool, have fun." Wrong answer. I was supposed to be jealous and territorial. We had our biggest fight ever over my lack of passion. Every time I failed these invisible tests, I became the problem. I was emotionally unavailable. I didn't care enough. I wasn't invested in the relationship. This vacation thing was just the biggest one yet. And I was done playing. Now, about what's been happening while I've been gone. Day 1 at the resort, I kept my phone off. Just enjoyed the beach, ate good food, went to bed early. The staff kept asking if I was expecting someone else, and I just said nope, just me. They upgraded me to a better room because they had availability and felt bad about the single occupancy situation. Ocean view. Full balcony. Sometimes the universe just works out. Day 2, I figured I should check in with reality. Turned on my phone, immediately regretted it. The texts from her range from furious to apologetic to furious again. "I can't believe you actually left me at the airport. I'm so sorry, baby, please call me. You're a horrible person for doing this. I love you so much, please just talk to me. My mom says you're an emotionally abusive narcissist. I miss you. I miss us. This was supposed to be our trip." Ah, yes. The mom was involved now. That explained the unknown numbers. Her mother called me twice, left voicemails I didn't listen to. Her sister texted me something about family loyalty and how I'd humiliated her at the airport. Apparently, after I walked away, my girlfriend had a full meltdown at the gate. Crying, screaming, trying to get the airline to reinstate her ticket. Security got involved. Not in a "you're being arrested" way, but in a "ma'am, we need you to calm down" way. They escorted her out of the terminal. Her sister had to drive 2 hours to pick her up. Apparently the whole ride home was her alternating between sobbing and raging about how nobody understands and how she was humiliated for no reason. No reason, right? The narrative being spun was that I abandoned her at the airport with no warning, conveniently leaving out the part where she'd texted me asking for a break less than 24 hours earlier. Her mother had already started calling me cruel and vindictive to extended family. Her aunt, who I'd met exactly twice, sent me a long Facebook message about how real men don't treat women this way and how she'd raised her boys better than that. I didn't bother responding. Her best friend, who I'd always gotten along with, sent me a surprisingly balanced message. "Hey, I know you're probably overwhelmed right now. I just wanted to say I heard her side, but I also know her patterns. Whatever happened, I hope you're okay. Don't feel pressured to respond." That was nice. At least someone wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid. Then came the interesting part. One of her coworkers, someone I'd met a few times at her office parties, reached out. The message was revealing. "Hey, I don't know if I should be telling you this, but I feel like you deserve to know." She was telling everyone at work that she was going on this trip with someone else, not you. Some guy named Derek she met at a conference last month. She was bragging about how you paid for everything and she was going to swap in her new guy. Then I guess Derek backed out last minute? Not sure what happened there. Anyway, she showed up to work yesterday crying about how you ruined everything. Thought you should know the full story. I read that message about 5 times. She wasn't testing me. She was planning to replace me on the vacation I paid for. And when her replacement fell through, she tried to come back like nothing happened. The "I need a break" text wasn't a test. It was her clearing the runway for someone else. When that someone else bailed, she pivoted to the surprise narrative. I screenshot that coworker's message and saved it. Then I went back to the pool. Sat there for a long time, just processing. 2.5 years. All those arguments about whether I was committed enough. All those times she'd test me and I'd fail, and she'd cry and I'd apologize. All that energy spent trying to prove I loved her. And the whole time she was capable of this, of planning to bring another guy on our vacation, of lying to my face while packing the suitcase I bought her. The thing about all-inclusive resorts is that the drinks never stop coming. I had another rum situation and watched the sunset. Thought about 2.5 years of my life with someone who saw me as an ATM with emotional labor included. Then I blocked her number, went back to the pool bar, ordered another drink. This one had coconut in it. Very tropical, very peaceful. The bartender, a guy about my age, asked if I was traveling solo. I gave him the short version. His response: "Brother, you dodged a bullet. Enjoy your week. Drinks are on me for the next hour. Best bartender ever." Update 2. 1 week later, back home. I'm back from vacation, tanned, rested, and walking into a mess. The short version: she showed up at my apartment while I was gone. My buddy who was watching the place texted me on day 5 of my trip. "Yo, your girl is outside your door. She's been there for like an hour. What do you want me to do?" I told him to call the building manager if she didn't leave, but not to engage with her directly. She wasn't on the lease. She'd never lived there. She had no right to be there. According to him, she eventually left after a neighbor complained about the crying. She'd been sitting in the hallway for almost 2 hours, intermittently knocking and crying and talking to herself. My neighbor, who I'd never been particularly close with, actually texted me later. "Bro, I don't know what happened with your girl, but she was out there having a whole breakdown. Hope you're okay." When I got home yesterday, I found a letter taped to my door. 4 pages, handwritten. The highlights: "I made the biggest mistake of my life and I'm begging you to forgive me." The thing with the other guy was nothing. I was just confused. "You're the one I love. You ruined our vacation over a misunderstanding. My therapist says you're exhibiting avoidant attachment behaviors." The audacity of blaming me for ruining a vacation that I paid for while she was planning to bring another guy was truly something else. But it got worse. She'd also been busy during the week I was gone. Remember how I mentioned her mom and sister were involved? They'd escalated things. Her mom left me a voicemail, which I finally listened to, accusing me of financial abuse for canceling the ticket I'd paid for. She threatened to involve lawyers if I didn't reimburse her daughter for her half of the vacation costs. Her half. That she didn't pay a single dollar toward. The vacation I funded entirely. I actually laughed out loud at that one. Her sister went a different route. She'd somehow gotten the contact info for my older brother and called him to express concern about my mental state. My brother, bless him, told her that I seemed pretty relaxed in the vacation photos I'd sent him and hung up. But the real prize came when I checked my email. My girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now, let's be clear, had sent me an invoice. A literal PDF invoice. She was billing me for emotional distress, $500, lost wages from missed work, $320, Uber home from airport, $85, new suitcase, damaged during removal from terminal, $200, total, $1,105. The invoice was formatted professionally, like she'd looked up a template online and filled in the blanks. She'd even included a due date and late fees if I didn't pay on time. It would have been almost funny if it wasn't so insulting. The email accompanying it said that if I didn't pay within 14 days, she would pursue legal options. I stared at that invoice for a good 5 minutes. The sheer audacity of it. She'd been planning to cheat on me, using a vacation I funded, and now she wanted me to compensate her for the inconvenience of getting caught. The damaged suitcase line was particularly rich. That was the suitcase I'd bought her as a birthday gift. Now she was billing me for its damage. I forwarded it to a lawyer friend of mine who deals with contract stuff. His response: "LMAO, this isn't legally enforceable. She can pursue whatever she wants, but no court would entertain this. You paid for the trip, you canceled the portion you paid for. End of story. I screenshot that response and sent it to her. Her reply was a string of crying emojis followed by, "I can't believe you're being this cold. We were supposed to get married someday." I didn't respond to that. The coworker who'd initially tipped me off sent one more message. Update. That conference guy apparently told her he was never that serious about her and that she misread the situation. She's been a mess at work. HR had a conversation with her about maintaining professionalism. Thought you'd want to know. So the guy she was going to replace me with wasn't even interested. She'd torpedoed a 2.5-year relationship for a fantasy that didn't exist. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Then I remembered the invoice and the feeling passed. Final update, 2 weeks later. Figured I'd close this out since things have finally settled down. After my last update, there was one more escalation before it fizzled out. She showed up at my office. I work for a mid-sized tech company. Decent security, but we don't exactly have armed guards or anything. She walked into the lobby, told reception she was there to see me, and waited. I got a call from the front desk. "There's a woman here who says she's your girlfriend. She seems upset. Should I send her up?" "No, I'll come down. But if I give you a signal, call security." I went to the lobby. She was sitting in one of the waiting chairs, eyes red, looking like she hadn't slept in days. Her clothes were wrinkled. Her hair, which she usually kept meticulously styled, was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked small. Defeated. For half a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Then I remembered the invoice. "Can we talk?" she asked. "We can talk here, in the lobby, for 5 minutes. Please, I just need you to understand. Can we go somewhere private?" "No. Whatever you have to say, you can say it here." She glanced around at the receptionist, the security camera in the corner, the few people milling about. She clearly hated having an audience. Too bad. I made a mistake. The whole other guy thing was stupid. I got caught up in the attention and I wasn't thinking. But it didn't mean anything. "You're the one I want. You texted me asking for a break the day before our trip so you could bring another guy on the vacation I paid for." "That's not." "It is. I talked to your coworker. I know exactly what happened. The conference guy, the plan to swap him in for me, all of it." Her face went pale. "Who told you that?" "Doesn't matter. The point is, you didn't want a break to figure things out. You wanted me out of the picture temporarily. When your backup plan failed, you tried to pretend it was all a test." I was confused. I made a bad choice. People make mistakes. They do. And I'm making a choice now. We're done. You can't just throw away 2.5 years. "I'm not throwing anything away. You threw it away. I'm just acknowledging reality. I love you." "You don't. You love what I provide. Security, stability, someone who'll pay for vacations and chase you when you run away. That's not love. That's a transaction." She started crying, loudly. The reception staff were staring. A couple of my coworkers had wandered into the lobby and were pretending to check their phones while very obviously watching. "Please," she sobbed. "I'll do anything. Therapy, couples counseling, whatever you want. What I want is for you to leave and to stop contacting me." "You're being so cruel." "I'm being clear. There's a difference. Please leave before I have security escort you out." She stood there for a moment, tears streaming, waiting for me to crack, to chase her, to play the game one more time, to say, "Wait, let's talk about this," and give her another chance. 2.5 years of conditioning almost kicked in. I felt that familiar pull to comfort her, to fix things, to make it all better. My therapist would later call it trauma bonding. In the moment, I just called it habit. But habits can be broken. I didn't move, didn't speak, just waited. She finally grabbed her purse and stormed out, slamming the lobby door hard enough to make everyone jump. The receptionist raised her eyebrows at me. I just shrugged. My coworker who'd been checking his phone looked up. "You good, man?" "Yeah, I'm good." And I meant it. Her family made one more attempt. Her dad, who I'd actually liked, called me a few days later. He was calmer than the mom and sister. "Look," he said, "I'm not going to pretend I know everything that happened, but she's really struggling. I'm not asking you to take her back. I just wanted to say, she's always been like this. The games, the tests, her mom does the same thing to me. I've tried to talk to her about it, but..." I appreciate you calling, I said. And I'm sorry she's struggling. But I can't keep being the person who fixes things for her. I understand. Take care of yourself. That call actually meant something to me. Her dad was always the reasonable one in her family. Quiet, stayed out of drama, let the women run the show. I felt bad for him, honestly. He'd probably been dealing with this kind of thing from his wife for decades. That was the last contact I had with any of them. The invoice email was followed up by exactly nothing. No lawyers, no legal threats, just silence. She'd been bluffing, obviously. My lawyer friend said that was typical. People who actually have legal standing don't threaten lawsuits. They just file them. The threat itself is almost always a bluff. Her coworker sent me one final update about a week later. She's been telling everyone at work that you cheated on her and that's why you went on vacation alone. Nobody believes it because she was literally bragging about the conference guy 2 weeks ago. HR pulled her aside again. She might be on thin ice, just wanted you to know in case it somehow gets back to you. Classic. When you can't rewrite reality, just make up a new one. I also found out through a mutual friend that she'd tried to spin the airport incident to other people we knew. In her version, I'd lured her to the airport under false pretenses, and then humiliated her publicly as punishment for asking for space in the relationship. The mutual friend wasn't buying it. Dude, she told me herself last month that she was excited about this vacation with you. Then suddenly, you're the villain? Math isn't mathing. People were figuring out the truth on their own. I didn't have to say anything. I haven't heard from her since. Blocked on everything, and mutual friends have been surprisingly cool about not playing messenger. Where am I now? Honestly, I'm okay. The vacation gave me time to think, and I realized something. I'd been waiting for her to change for 2.5 years. Waiting for the tests to stop, for the drama to calm down, for her to just be present without all the games. That was never going to happen. The break text was actually the best thing she ever did for me because it finally forced me to stop waiting. I've started therapy myself, not couples counseling, obviously, but individual stuff. Working through why I stayed as long as I did, why I kept chasing when I knew the game was rigged, why I accepted treatment from her that I would have told any friend to walk away from. My therapist says I have a tendency to prioritize other people's needs over my own. That I'm a fixer who attracts people who need fixing, and then I sacrifice myself trying to do the impossible. He's not wrong. It took 2.5 years of tests and games and emotional manipulation for me to finally say enough. That's too long, but I'm learning. We're working on boundaries, on recognizing red flags earlier, on understanding that my needs matter too. The vacation photos are still on my phone. Me on the beach, me at the pool, me eating an incredible steak dinner at the resort restaurant. All alone, all relaxed, all smiling. Those photos are proof. Proof that I can be happy by myself. Proof that I don't need someone else's validation to enjoy my own life. Proof that walking away was the right choice. Was it petty to cancel her ticket and change the reservation? Maybe. But I don't regret it. She wanted space. I gave her exactly what she asked for. The fact that she didn't actually mean it isn't my problem. Some people play games. Some people call the bluff. This time, I called it. To anyone reading this in a similar situation, trust your gut. When someone tells you they need space right before something important you've been planning together, pay attention to the timing. Pay attention to the pattern. And don't be afraid to take them at their word. She wanted a break. I gave her a permanent one. Thanks for reading. Time to close this chapter and figure out what's next.